What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from MTG headquarters. Here today with a little standard deck tech. I'm going to go through probably 2 or 3 different decks over this week and the following week for what I am currently running in today's standard. What we've got here is an Abzan mid-range deck that is pretty similar to what you saw do really well in Hawaii. There have been a few changes, mostly with the sideboard, and I'll talk a little bit about that. There's a little unique to me in terms of what exactly the numbers I'm running, but I'll talk a little bit about that as I go through it. So we have 3 Brimes, which is great as a token producer. Obviously, 3/4 Vigilance is just a really powerful creature, and it's great at the 3-drop. It's just a good. You want to be playing like Fleecemane Lion into Brimes into Siege Rhino, or like Caryatid into Brimes into Siege Rhino kind of stuff. I run 3 Elspeth mainboard. I don't have a 4th in the sideboard, but I'll talk about that later. I run 3 or 4 Heroes Downfalls, obviously dealing with Planeswalkers and or anything that can get nasty. I've got 1 Bile Blight. So obviously in game 1, if I see I'm running like I'm running up against some sort of token thing, or it's great to take out Fleecemane Lions, but I have some more in the sideboard in case I want to have multiples in my deck. Although I'm seeing, at least with MTGO, I don't run into a lot of tokens or multiple copies of something that Bile Blight can really take care of. So it feels like the new standard, once now that Khans is out, it's a little less powerful. I've got 4 Caryatid, Sylvan Caryatid, obviously for mana and early blockers against 1/1 tokens, stuff like that. 4 Courser, Crewfix. This is all, other than the 1 Bile Blight, this is pretty boilerplate. I actually skipped over, I'm running 2 Wingmate Rock. 2 seems like an okay number. 4, it's just too many. It's not that powerful. Like, it's really powerful when you're winning. It's like a win more spell. Although I guess, there are times that you can have it in your hand and not have any creatures on the board, especially as you see a lot more of End Hostilities getting played. Even I've seen it in Abzan mid-range decks, things like that. So Wingmate Rock is good. It's definitely great value, but I'm not sure about a 4 of. I've got 2 Sorin Sullen Visitor, the new Planeswalker from Khans. 2 Utter End, which is just great. Exile target non-land permanent. So it takes care of literally everything at the, it's at a 4-drop. So I only run 2 of them, but I suppose you could put some more in the sideboard. I'm considering taking Inoffense out of the sideboard, but we'll talk about that later. 4 Fleecemane Lion, just for, it's incredible value. 3/3 for 2. If that's all it ever is, it's still good value. Obviously, if you're able to monstrous it and take it to a 4/4, make it indestructible and hexproof, it's really good against End Hostilities. And then we've got 3 Abzan Charm. You can use it as spot removal for exiling creatures of 3 toughness or greater. You can distribute 2 tokens. You can use it as a mini combat trick, which Abzan Charm, I almost never use it for that. It's almost always to remove something or to draw 2 cards. And even more than that, I'm drawing cards with it. I'm not using it as removal because I have Heroes Downfall, Utter End, Bile Blight. I've got all sorts of stuff to get rid of things. The card draw is just a better value, I think. And then obviously our top of curve 4 Siege Rhino, excellent card. I've had 2 or 3 of these out on the board at once. I've cast back to back, and it's just a devastating card at 4-drop. It's extremely difficult to deal with unless they have something like End Hostilities or they're playing mono green ramp or mono green devotion. There are lots of things in that deck that can deal with it. In terms of the land base, I've got 3 Windswept Heath to fetch my plains or forests and also thin out the deck. 1 Urborg, which is great. I find it extremely useful to help relieve some of the pressure of the pain lands. Tapping them for a single black instead of taking the pain to tap them. Same with Mana Confluence, so it's just really good for that. 4 Temple of Silence, 3 Temple of Malady, 4 Sandstep Citadel, which is the Abzan Triland. We've got 3 regular plains, 1 Mana Confluence, 1 Llanowar Wastes, 3 regular forests, and 1 Cave of Koilos. I don't really ever have any problems with mana distribution in this deck, so I feel really good about the mix. I think you can move it one way or another, but if I have a mana problem, it's because I'm stuck on 3. That's when I get hosed. End Hostilities has made that more of an issue, right? Because I'll keep a sketchy hand if I have a Caryatid or a Courser out there, but with End Hostilities, they can take away your mana dorks and you can kind of get stuck on land. In terms of the sideboard, this is somewhat new tech for me. I'm running 3 End Hostilities. Now, I added End Hostilities simply to combat the mono-green Devotion decks. Even though mid-range is pretty reliable and can stabilize, especially this build because there's so much removal, the deck I have the most problem with is mono-green Devotion and having it just blow me out on like turn 5. I've been seeing a lot of that deck, and so I had to put something in to deal with it. I played a really spicy build of it last week on Friday, where they had Villainous Wealth in there, and I mean they had tapped that thing for like 15 mana at one point. I mean it's just, it's just game over. It's just a win card. You can generate so much mana with Nykthos and Karametra's Acolyte, and you know, if you're playing mono green Devotion, you can end up having your opponent cast like 3 huge creatures in one turn, like double or like a Polukranos into a Arbor Colossus into something else. And even if you have like I don't know, Brimez, or like if you're stuck on like a Brimez or a Sylvan Caryatid, or maybe you have 1 Siege Rhino out there, there's just no way to overcome that, and that's why I'm running End Hostilities. Glare of Heresy, obviously it's great in the mirror match. It's great to get rid of Banishing Lights. 1 Dark Betrayal, which again is, I think if you're going to have 1 of something in the sideboard, I mean, it's hard for me to really buy into it as a sideboard tech. I like to have multiple copies because sideboarding in 1 thing is just, unless it's another way. So Dark Betrayal is just a kill spell, which is great. You know, fine in the mirror match. It's a cheaper, you know, not really Hero's Downfall because it doesn't get Planeswalkers, but you get where I'm going. I've got a couple Thoughtseize in the sideboard, just 2 of them. I've been considering dropping the Drowning Sorrows and going to 4 Thoughtseize in the sideboard because, or 2 Thoughtseize and maybe Duress or Despise. You really like to pull those End Hostilities out of their hand. In Mono Green Devotion, I sideboard this card in to get rid of their engines. So actually I've pulled things like Karametra's Acolyte, or you know, getting an Arbor Colossus for 1 black mana is always great. I've got a single Bioblight. You know, I can board it in to have 2 in the deck, and I've also got 2 Drowning Sorrow. They're very similar. Bioblight I most often use to kill something like a Fleecebane Lion, where Drowning Sorrow is more like Rabble Master tech. I've got 1 Nissa in there to board in if I need to, 1 Back to Nature, destroy all enchantments, and 2 Anafenza. Again, I'm pretty new to piloting this deck, so I'm not totally, you know, Anafenza is absolutely great. Both when, I mean, it's a win more card, you know, definitely is. If you're producing Elspeth tokens, and you've got Anafenza, honestly, a 4/4 for 3 is actually really good value. It's definitely playable in this deck, I think. You know, if you just need more bullets, pulling out Sorin and dropping in Anafenza, or pulling out Other End and dropping in Anafenza is totally reasonable, I think. At turn 3, or if you're really trying to get at them early, you could drop things like Windmate Rock, or even an Elspeth, and pull it in there. So it's just a really good card. 4/4 for 3. Obviously, when it attacks, putting a token on something else is also really good. But it's also great at graveyard hate as well. So it's just a really good card. I'm still kind of trying to get familiar with when I want to bring it in, but this is really my go-to Abzan mid-range build currently. We're in the end of October here. This is what I'm running for my standard dailies. I've also got a mono green devotion deck and Mardu mid-range that I'm still working on. This, I feel pretty happy with this build. It holds up okay in the mirror match, and it's extremely reliable in most matches. The mono green is the one I have the most trouble with, and I haven't gone up against it with this new sideboard, but I'm thinking End Hostilities is really going to help. What do you guys, let me know what you guys are running in today's standard. If you have any questions about my build, please post them up in the comment section down below. I look forward to chatting with you again real soon. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, check out some of our most popular playlists, from MTG vlogs, sick gameplay videos, new product breaks, and some insane vintage openings. I upload 3 to 4 new Magic the Gathering videos every week, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to crush that subscribe button to join one of the fastest growing Magic the Gathering channels on YouTube. Talk to you later.